Has the Bible been mistranslated? Now, if you go on any social media, especially TikTok, you'll see this phrase, "Oh, the Bible's been mistranslated. You can't trust it." Yada yada. Is this true? No. This is the problem with social media theology, is people will talk about stuff that they don't really know what they're talking about. Now, I don't mean to say that to be mean, but they just don't. They talk about translations. They say, "Oh, it's actually not translated properly," or "there's books missing," and so on and so forth. That's not the case. The translation of the Bible was done over many, many years by many people, and they took great care to do so. We can look at discoveries like the Dead Sea Scrolls, for example. And before the Dead Sea Scrolls, our translations of the Old Testament were, not super ancient. Obviously, they're ancient in comparison to today, but they didn't go back super far. However, the Dead Sea Scrolls went back, I think, to like about 200 years before Christ, and they were almost identical to the translations that we had at the time. So that shows that the process of which the translators had to translate was pretty good, since it matched up fairly well. So all the people who say it's been mistranslated, they don't know what they're talking about. Translation comes down to two main philosophies: a thought for thought, or word for word. And the word for word ones are far more accurate to the original language. That doesn't mean that the thought for thought ones aren't any good. They are as well, but word for word here is as close as possible to the original words and sentence structure. And they line up fairly well. We still have original or early copies like the Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff in Hebrew, and we have early translations of the Greek of the New Testament, and it lines up fairly well. Now, there's some differences because languages don't translate perfectly, but these aren't mistranslations, they're just limitations of the language. And in regards to books that are missing or hidden, most people talk about this in regards to the Gnostic Gospels. Those were never considered to be biblical. They were never considered to be part of the text or of the canon. People that say that are just baseless completely. There's no argument that those were ever considered to be a part of the original canon. In regards to the Apocrypha, there's a little bit more of a debate on that. Some of those are viewed in kind of a historical sense, but the Gnostics do not fall in that category. They're just garbage, basically. Right? I guess you can read them if you want, but they don't hold any divine authority, or not even really a good historical perspective either, because they come from hundreds of years after the events that they supposedly talk about. So overall, the Bible is trustworthy. The Bible has been translated very faithfully and ultimately by the work of the Holy Spirit. This isn't an authority of man. This is the Holy Spirit working through people to translate the Bible and to get the Bible into as many hands as possible, so that God can reach as many people as possible.